Amazing, I'm back. I found another Canadian, and so I had to get her on camera for all of you. Alexandra from Ottawa, and so we're basically neighbors. Toronto, Ottawa, what, like a 4-hour drive, I think?
Yeah.
So 4-hour drive on Canadian scale, being what, the second largest country in the world, it's pretty close. And so typically when we get snow, they get snow. When they get snow, we get snow, and that makes us Canadians. So anyway, lovely meeting another Canadian here at JSConf Budapest. Is this too hot for you, or is it just me?
It's pretty hot.
Okay. See, Canadians, and so we get it. But yeah, like what brings you to Budapest? So I think you gave a talk today, didn't you?
I did, yeah. I gave a talk called The Emotional Chaos of Deploying Code, and I gave that this morning, and now I'm excited to just explore Budapest and see the rest of the city.
Is this your first time in Budapest, or?
It is.
Oh, wow. And when did you fly in?
I flew in, jet lag makes it difficult, but I think 2 days ago. It took 19 hours to get here, though.
19 hours?
Yeah.
I
had to drive to Montreal, fly from Montreal to Paris, wait 3 hours there, and then fly Paris to Budapest.
Oh my goodness. And how long is the drive from Ottawa to Montreal again?
2 hours.
2 hours. So 2 hours to Montreal. Obviously, you want to arrive like a few hours before your flight.
Mm-hmm.
Montreal to Paris, wait in Paris, Paris to Budapest.
Mm-hmm.
Jeez, that's insane.
There's a lot of travel. Still worth it, though.
and then, of course, it's what, like a 6-hour time zone difference to Montreal as well.
Yeah.
To Ottawa and Montreal, I guess, technically. I was correct. Okay, I was correct. And so, yeah, so I'm guessing, yeah, you're a bit jet lagged. But coming this way, you're basically up a bit later. To go from like North America to Europe, you're just awake a bit later. And so your talk was in the afternoon, I believe. And so it ended up being okay?
It was at noon, so it was like 6 in the morning for me.
Oh.
So it was a bit tough, but it's nice. I feel like I'm fully European now because my dinner is at 9 p.m., just like everyone else.
There you go. But yeah, so you spoke about the emotional chaos of deploying code. Mm-hmm. This is why I don't deploy any code.
There's lots of chaos. It causes lots of emotions.
So, like, can you tell me more about that? Like, what is the emotional chaos of deploying code?
Yeah. So basically, when we think of deploying code, often we only think about the technical side of it and how the process is going to work, like the CI/CD pipeline and all that stuff. But there's so much more to deploying code outside of just that, and all the people that are affected by it. So everyone from people whose code is going out for the very first time to the marketing department to the sales department, like everyone is affected in some way by the code. And if you do a deploy without thinking about them, without properly planning this out, they're going to be at a disadvantage and it's going to hurt their work. So I was talking about the importance of making sure everyone's involved and having really strong communication for that.
That makes a ton of sense. Yeah. I mean, like, oftentimes as developers, we just think about ourselves. And so we're like, oh, okay, we'll just deploy this, whatever. But really, it's the entire company that you're shipping the code for. So that makes a ton of sense. And really, everyone needs to be involved. I remember specifically, like, the folks even writing release notes on what you're shipping, especially if you're shipping like a mobile app. There's like, release notes involved, and kind of making that kind of fun and interesting, but also accurate in terms of what you did. Oftentimes I forget about that. And so yeah, I mean, like, that sounds an amazing talk. So if the talk is out in time, which it probably will be, we'll post a link down in the bottom description where you can check out Alexandra's talk. And so that sounds really cool. And so where did you kind of gather all of this knowledge on this topic?
Yeah, so I've actually been working in the tech industry for over 10 years, so been doing it for quite a while, and basically everything in the talk is about all the failures I've had, because I've screwed up a ton, and I talk a lot about how I screw up from that emotional side, but then also the tech side too. Like, I've done a lot of really, really bad mistakes. But yeah, I've just been in the industry so long, working at startups and large international companies, so seen a lot of different processes, and a lot of it just came from everything I got wrong.
There's a lot of emotional chaos going on over here, it sounds like. And so some good lessons learned there for sure. And you said you're an engineering manager now.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm a senior engineering manager at Fellow.app, which is a startup in Ottawa, based in Ottawa, but now we have people all over since we're remote. And I have 3 really incredible teams there, and we're building a meeting management and productivity platform, which I find super great because I love being organized and taking meeting notes. So it's perfect for me.
Well, I guess you guys understand the product really well. You're like, what does Alexandra need? Just go build it and ship it, please.
That's the great thing, though. Like
yeah.
working at a company where you get to use your own software, that makes
Yep.
you so much better of a developer because you understand the product side.
Yep. I hate the term dog fooding because it's just kind of a disgusting thing. Like, who wants to eat dog food? You know what I mean? And so I don't know if there's like a better word for that out there. But if you know,
Drinking your own champagne.
drinking your own champagne.
I feel like that's a term.
It might be in the Champagne region of France, but we aren't there right now, and so everywhere else is drinking their own sparkling wine, and so yeah, maybe we'll go with that. Maybe we'll go enjoying your own maple syrup.
Yeah.
As a Canadian, there we go, nice and sweet.
Mm-hmm.
But that's super cool. So you manage a fully remote team now at Fellow.
Yeah, which ended up working really nicely, actually, because before Fellow, I've been working remotely my whole career. So
oh, wow, okay.
Lots and lots of remote work. Remote work before was cool.
Does nobody else live in Ottawa? Like, how come you're working remotely this whole time?
Well, the company was based out of Ottawa, but I was living in Toronto at the time.
Oh, Toronto,
So
my people.
the rest of the company was in Ottawa, and I was the only remote person for the longest time.
Just in Toronto?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
And so it was really fun interesting because we were still a startup at the time and there was no infrastructure for conference calls and things. So whenever we do things like have company meetings, someone would have to dial me into a laptop and put me on the chair and I'd be like a participant that way, which is not how you do remote work. But that was my life.
So what have you noticed from, I guess, pre-pandemic remote to post-pandemic remote?
Oh, it's so much better when everyone in the company is remote. It's because when you're the only person or one of the few, you miss out on so many conversations and people don't remember to include you. And it's just harder to get that sense of community. And you end up missing out on a lot of things and events, which isn't really fun. And when everybody is working remotely, everyone's on the same page. And so all the communication happens over Slack and emails and documents. So it's just better. Like there's more access to information, which makes it a lot easier for everyone.
Yeah. I mean, it makes a ton of sense. You literally can't communicate any other way than remotely, and so you end up communicating remotely, of course, and it ends up making things more accessible for everyone. That makes a ton of sense. So, are you enjoying like the post-pandemic remote culture now that you've been remote this whole time? Like, is Fellow still mainly situated in Ottawa, or is it expanded to more time zones and everything as well now?
Yeah, that's the nice thing about working remotely. Like, we really took it to our advantage. We've hired people across Canada, in Europe, like in South America, kind of just all over the place. So it's really, really nice. And I don't know if it's quite like post-pandemic yet in Canada because it's still, everyone's a little bit on edge. So we're not quite there yet, but we've definitely started to take more advantage of being able to get together. And we've had like a month ago an in-person hackathon where we flew everyone to one spot and just spent a few days building things together and presenting. So we're starting to do more things like that, which is really nice. And it means that the time we do spend together is so meaningful and we make a lot out of the interactions that we get.
You mentioned you have colleagues in Europe. So now that you're in Europe, are you meeting up with any of them, or?
I'm not, no.
I'm guessing they're in a different part of Europe.
Yeah, I have a lot of things going on in Europe right now, so I have a lot of places.
Really? Like what? Like you're in Budapest now. Like what, are you going on like a vacation after this or something? Or?
Well, on Sunday I'm flying to London and I'm going to be speaking at the Lead Dev.
Oh,
and
I'm living in London, but I'm not going to be there.
It's too bad. Yeah, but I'm going on vacation in Paris for a few days after that.
Oh, lovely. Yeah, it's taking the Eurostar over or something. Just taking the train from London to Paris.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's so convenient being here and just being able to do that. You know, it's like, I mean, it's a great time to do it. So you're speaking at the Lead Dev as well in London after this. Is it going to be the same talk or?
No, completely different talk. What? So that was amazing for preparing. So much work. That talk is going to be about asynchronous meetings, which is very remote related.
Still remote related. Okay.
Yeah. So I'm very excited for that one. It's going to be a fun talk.
So it sounds like you're becoming an expert on remote work and working remotely. Is that something that you're pursuing? Is that something you're talking more about? Are you producing content in that area?
Yeah, I am actually releasing a book about this later this summer.
Amazing! Oh wow! Okay.
Yeah, it took a while, but I finished writing this book that's coming out in a month or two called Remote Engineering Management, and it's all about best practices for being a empathetic and people-first leader. And it talks about everything from how to account for remote-specific biases when you're hiring, how to give out fair promotions when you don't get to see people every day, all the way to like how to let people go fairly when you can't see them through anything other than a computer screen.
Yeah. I mean, do you have anything in there about getting equipment to them as well?
Actually, yes.
Yeah, because like for us, we're fully remote as well, and I hired a friend of mine back in Toronto that I used to work with 7 years ago. I just rehired him because like we work together, so I kind of know how we work together. And just getting a laptop to him was so difficult. It sounds like I need to get my hands on this book and kind of read and like kind of understand how to manage this team better. Because things like that you don't even think about when you're all together, and then you're remote, and then all these things just come up, and so that's amazing. Okay, cool. And you mentioned it's going to be out when again?
End of July, early August. So sometime this summer. So
like in a few months, and so I guess by the time this video is out, the book will probably be out as well. So I'll post a link down below for that book if you want to go check it out. It sounds like I'll be checking it out. So yeah, that's amazing. Well, cool. So you're from Ottawa. Yeah. You were born in Ottawa, but you were in Toronto. Like how did all that work?
Yeah, so I was born in Ottawa. I moved to France when I was 9 for a few years.
Do you speak French?
Je parle français, j'ai l'accent d'une Française, mais j'ai le vocabulaire de quelqu'un qui a 13 ans.
Oui, je comprends. Oui.
I have the accent as if I'm French, but then the vocabulary of someone who's 13, because that's when I left. So it's very silly whenever I go to France and try to communicate and people think that I understand them.
So you're going to go to Paris, as you said, and so it's going to be that all over again. Yeah.
People ask me what I do for work, and I'm like, I don't know. I can't do this.
Well, as a vocabulary for a 13-year-old, I play soccer. Okay, that's very cool. Okay, so you went to Paris when you were 9?
South of France.
South of France when you were 9?
South of France. Moved back to Canada when I was 13. Went to Waterloo for school. Yep. Went to Toronto later.
So for those of you that might not know, Waterloo is essentially one of the top like engineering schools in the world, and it's one of it's probably the top in Canada, and so. It's one of those universities where I think they're a bit more hands-on engineering. Essentially, I dropped out of Queen's University, which is famous because Elon Musk went there, and we won't talk about him at all for the rest of this interview. And so don't you comment down below about that guy. Anyway, that was a bit more theoretical, a bit more like math and sciencey. I think Waterloo is a bit more like. Did you go there for engineering or?
I went for computer science.
For comp sci, was that a bit more like theoretical, or was that a bit more hands-on?
No, okay. It was I did some coding.
I think the engineering department might be a bit more hands-on, but maybe the comp sci department is a bit more theoretical. I don't know.
I feel like both are very theoretical, which is really good because that's what I want out of academic learning. But then they have so many opportunities for hands-on things. Like their co-op program is huge.
The co-op
all
program,
the clubs
that's right.
they have, that's where you get the hands-on stuff.
That's right. Yep. Thank you for correcting me because it's been a very long time since I was in that whole space. So okay, cool. So you went to Waterloo, and then.
Yeah, and then I moved to Toronto for 4 years, and then I moved back to Ottawa, and I actually I moved back March 12th, 2020, with the intention of working in the office full-time for the first time ever, and then March 13th, 2020 is when everything shut down. So I moved to Ottawa just to work in person, never got to.
Oh, wow. Oh, my goodness. Oh, wow. So well, I guess the world just wants you to be remote for the rest of your life.
Exactly. I mean, it led me to producing the book. So
it led you to producing the book, and okay. You can travel through Europe if you want as well, and you can still kind of work a little bit instead of taking a vacation.
Exactly.
Right? And so it's kind of amazing in that way. Well, anyway, I guess I'll let you go and enjoy a bit more of Europe now that you're here. Thank you so much for talking about all of that. It sounds amazing. I'm going to check out your book. And yeah, lovely meeting you in Budapest. Yeah. Thanks again. And I hope you enjoyed that, everyone. We'll see you next time. Bye now.